Yeah. As you'll see, as I mentioned just now, so our next session will be on membership recruitment and retention in corporate club. And we have our next speaker is a triple distinguished Toastmasters who has served at every level of Toastmasters, 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗂𝗵𝗶. He is a former club president, a winner of district, division, and area director of the year, and has built or supported at least 11 corporate clubs while completing 8 pathways. By day, he is a commercial manager in oil and gas, and today he's here to share pure Toastmaster mastery. Let's give it up for distinguished Toastmaster 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗂𝗵𝗶. Over to you.
Thank you, Lavanya. Can I just make an audio chat because I didn't join earlier? Can you all hear me?
Can.
Thank you. Right. And can you all see my screen as well? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, good afternoon. So I'll start my timer over on my side. So just now I logged in the last 5 minutes of our distinguished Toastmaster Mohan's presentation, and I caught the one word that he mentioned, people. And I think that is also a very important reminder for corporate clubs as well. And you will see me emphasizing a lot on the aspect of people, even in corporate clubs. So before I begin, I would just like to introduce myself, maybe from my own perspective. And just now when I heard Lavanya mention district, the contest and district, I was like, oh, wait. No, I've not won a district contest, but I was at the division level as far as the contest is concerned. But I think she was talking about the district Toastmaster of the year. So I joined the Toastmasters Club in 2017. And for the first 3 years of my Toastmasters journey, I was never a member of any other club, but only my corporate club. So for the first 3 years, I was only a member of one club, and that's my corporate club, 𝗬𝗎𝗍 Toastmasters Club. And then it was a bit strange because normally when you join the club, you normally spend like a year or two joining a contest or doing other things before you move up the leadership. For me, I started off with the area director the following year, and then the division director the year after. So in 2019, and after that, because of, I mean, I'm not going to take the full credit for this, right? I mean, it's a team effort, and we managed to turn the club around. And after I joined, 𝗬𝗎𝗍 Toastmasters Club received the President's Distinguished Club Award for the 5 successive terms after 2017. I have done the club chartering, mentor, as well as a club coach, all for corporate clubs. Like Lavanya mentioned, completed DTM 3 times and 7 pathways. Now, the one thing I want to mention here is that I think when it comes to Toastmasters, like we rarely want to tie to our corporate life. I'm not sure why, but I haven't seen a lot of people doing it. But for me, I want to do it because I believe that when we join a corporate club, it's important that we also see transformation in our own corporate journey as well. So I was a senior executive in 2017, but after 7 years in Toastmasters, I would say the skills that I learned in Toastmasters have elevated me to become the head of department in 2024. Okay, so now let's jump into the presentation today. I'm going to be touching on recruitment and retention. I'm going to be sharing 4 methods for corporate clubs to do recruitment and 4 methods for corporate clubs to do retention. So we have a lot to cover, and I will try to cover all of those within a given time. So let's just look at the membership from the corporate club's perspective. Why do people join corporate clubs? I'm speaking based on my own experience as well as people whom I've spoken to. Actually, I helped to bring in around 50 people into corporate clubs. I think around 40 will be around my own club and 10 into other corporate clubs. So I can safely say that one of the main reason is for the member to have a platform to speak their mind. Because let's just face it, I mean, in our company, sometimes we are asked to follow the rules and, they have something to say, but they don't have the platform to say it. So they want to have a platform where they can speak about their mind, about their views on different issues. So that's one of the reasons why they want to join a corporate club, a Toastmasters club. And they also want to improve their public speaking skills. Maybe they feel that they are climbing the ladder and they want to be a better public speaker in the presentation. And then also some of them, particularly those who are at the management level, they want to improve their leadership skills. And after that, we have people who work in stressful departments. Maybe their role is very stressful, or maybe the people whom they work with are very giving them stress, so they want to have a break from their stressful environment. And the bottom four, not so common, but let's just face it. I mean, they do join for those kind of reasons, the networking reasons. Some join for free food and refreshments. I'm going to be very candid in my presentation, right? So this is, I don't, I don't sugarcoat or whitewash anything. So I just say that, it's realistic, right? People join because some companies they give pretty good food and refreshment. If you want to know which corporate club give good food, you ask me, right? I will tell you privately, right? And then after that, we have some of them following their friends, and some of them just say that, well, you know what, company is paying for it, why not try something new? So they just join corporate club. Okay, so these are the reasons. Now, it's important to know these reasons, and why I spend about 1-2 minutes to go into these reasons is because when you're doing your recruitment, you got to know what's behind the mind of those potential members. Then you know, okay, which category they might fit into, or maybe more than one category. Then you can pinpoint into that and showcase the value that your club can bring in order to help them to, meet their objective. So membership building, right? So I just want to mention, now we go into the recruitment part. I want to share with you guys 3 types of potential members who may walk in through your club meeting. So 3 types of potential members. The first type is called a walk-in guest. So you have a meeting, and then you have a new face in your corporate club meeting, and the person just walk in and say, I want to know more about your club. I want to know more about, Toastmasters, and then who knows, maybe I will join. So people like this, they normally have a need. They have a trigger factor. Maybe someone told them about Toastmasters. Maybe they saw that a person was able to perform very well in public speaking, and they want to emulate these people, right? So whatever it is, they have a need, and they have the trigger factor. And the best part is, some of them, they are very open to share about what those needs are, and that help you in the recruitment. So normally you have I would say, right, when someone walk in through the door, you are already about 30 to 50% successful. You just need to do the other 50%. And the tragic thing about corporate club is that a lot of them do not do the further 50%. They only let the first 50% to happen. They saw a guest coming in, and after that, they just don't do anything about it, right? So you need to follow up with these people. And walk-in guests, because they come in on their own accord, so they have a high chance of becoming, a member who really contribute, or even a leader in the club, right? Of course, we start them slow, but I'm saying that they already have their own passion to join the Toastmasters club. So this is the type of people whom you really want to recruit and whom you really want to retain. Then you have the second category, which is a friend of a member. And this is very important, right? Because in corporate clubs, sometimes you have limited marketing. So the only way for you to bring in members is that, your own members bringing in their friends or their colleagues into the club. So these people, they may or may not have a need at first. Okay, at first. I want to emphasize on that word, at first. So they may or may not have a need, but after they join, if they develop their own journey, then they will eventually find their own vision and the purpose to become a member. So obviously, you need to do the follow up through that friend or the member. Then you have the third group of potential member, which is the assigned staff. So in corporate clubs, sometimes it's common where you go to the head of department who happens to be a friend or who happens to believe in you, in Toastmasters, and they say that, okay, you know what, I'm going to send 10 people from my department to join Toastmasters. So they are assigned, to join Toastmasters. And right, like I said, right, I'm going to be very candid in my presentation. All right, so these people, they are assigned, or they have to use the word force to join. They use the word force. I mean, let's not use the word force for them, but they themselves use it. So I'm just putting it here. So they are forced to join Toastmasters to develop a skill which they themselves may or may not agree that needs to be improved. And that's where the challenge is, because you want to make them realize that, hey, look, you can learn something here, but then they don't feel the same way at first. So, and these people, they are easy to recruit. If you see below, I'll share some strategies, but they are easy to recruit. They are hard to retain. And in some cases, even impossible, because they have a closed mindset. So, this is a challenge. So you need to have as a club, you need to develop a very clear pathway for this third group of potential members in your corporate club. So now I want to go on to the 4 categories. The 4 method of building membership. The first one, right, and this is no rocket science. I mean, you don't have to spend extra money or even extra time. We just need to have quality club meetings, and this is the same for corporate club, for community club, right? We need to have a proper organized plan. That means no last minute role player, right? And if you have a role player who can't make it in the last minute, set it a club culture that they need to find replacement. Not everything on the VPE. I mean, this is a very strict culture that I set for my corporate clubs, right? I said, if a member can't make it to do any role, right, that be it TME, TMD, or timer or evaluator, they have to put in the effort to look for a replacement, right? Call someone up and say, hey, look, can you replace me for today? Don't put everything on the VPE or the president. So it needs to be a planned meeting, and it needs to be an educational meeting, and it needs to be a fun meeting. So this is all qualities which the club meeting should already have, right, if you are running quality club meetings. So that is, I think, one of the best method, because when a member comes to your meeting, and the member sees that it's a very casual environment, people are just talking, it's more like a networking session with food. Why would they want to join? Why would they not spend it with their close colleagues instead, right? To go out for lunch? Why do they want to spend 1 hour with your corporate club? So there's a fine line between structured, informal, and casual. So we need to have a certain structure, all right, and not just make it fully casual and say it's okay, everything goes, no TMD is fine, no evaluator, never mind. If we allow that to happen, then we will not create confidence among the potential members, right? And we need to follow up with the potential members as well. Second method, speech contest. Right, I know that some corporate clubs who are very, they don't feel like having a speech contest, so they just send a rep to the area contest. Okay, I mean, they have their reason. I'm not gonna judge, but I would say this. I mean, speech contest is a very effective method to bring in new members. Because why? First of all, if you ask a member to go to a meeting, the potential member to go to the meeting, they'll feel stressed. They say, oh, I don't know what I need to do. I don't want to be asked to do a table topics, right? But if they go to a speech contest, they just sit down there and do nothing except watching, watch and learn. That's all, right? Very passive and very safe for them. In fact, they're not even allowed to talk, right? In the speech contest, no one can talk, right? So, it's a very safe environment for them and very stress-free, So this is a very good method to actually build ask the guests to come to see the Toastmasters Club. Right, it creates excitement, and then all the contestants, they're probably prepared, so the guests can see the best, right? A very good presentation, a good attempt, and they can also see how are the speeches delivered when they are being prepared, evaluations, table topics, right? And they can be inspired. So if you have a speech contest, remember to collect all the details of your guests and then follow up with them after that and invite them to a meeting. So that is another method to build membership. And third one is the speechcraft and speaking workshop, right? So some of the companies here, if you have a little bit of budget, you can create a 2-day workshop covering at least 6 sessions. The speechcraft is 8, right? If you're running a speechcraft, you need to cover full 8 sessions. And these 8 sessions will include the practice time for the participant. So you need 2 full days normally. If you can't do 2 full days, you can do on the alternate, the 2 weekends, like 2 consecutive weekends, 2 Saturdays. So it's up to you guys to plan. And normally, if you have a speechcraft, the budget for the speechcraft should also include a 6 months membership. Because in Toastmasters, we don't believe in a short-term intensive course. We believe in continuous improvement. So if you are going to drop a budget, you need to include a 6 months membership for the members so that they can continue to work on the skills that they have learned during the speechcraft session. So this speechcraft method is proven to rapidly increase membership because the typical number of members for speechcraft is normally around 15 to 20 people for speechcraft. So assuming all of them are non-members, you're talking about an immediate increase of 15 to 20 new members. Your goals 7 and 8 for membership, check. So it's a very rapid way of increasing membership. It's just that we got to be careful that we do not have any resource shortage. If you have 15 people joining your club, do you have enough mentors to cater to them? Do you have enough speaking slots to go around? If you don't, then you need to look on some other alternatives like having an extra session or recruiting more mentors. Don't stop speechcraft just for that. Find solutions, not give in to obstacles. Find solutions to overcome it. But yes, we have to be mindful of the challenges if we are going to have a rapid increase in membership. If you don't, if we don't follow up with the resource, then we may probably lose them after 6 months. So you can have a sharp increase and then you have a sharp drop in membership. The last method is a recruitment event. I would say a lot cheaper to run because sometimes it's just a 1 hour session, a 1.5 hour session, in the demo meeting style. So you have short table topics, 10 minutes. You have introduction to Toastmasters, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes, like someone explaining what Toastmasters is and how it's a fee structure, what they can benefit from, and things like that. And then you have one prepared speech and one evaluation. So this prepared speech speaker has a big role because the prepared speech speaker will demonstrate, right, how someone can benefit from Toastmasters. So it is low budget because you don't normally need to spend too much money, but the outcome may be limited unless you are very confident of your recruitment ability. But otherwise, then people come, people may not join, so the outcome may be limited. So those are the 4 methods. But just to recap, we have the club meeting, we have speech contest, we have the speech craft, and we have the recruitment event. So those are the 4 methods to build membership. And right now, I'm going to go to retention. Before that, if you have any questions, I think you can use the link to drop in the questions to them. And I think I'm looking towards having a 10 minutes Q&A. So, if you have any questions, I think we will have enough time to cover the questions. So I have 10 minutes left on the clock, and I just want to go on to the retention part. So what are the challenges faced by the corporate clubs? If you do not know the challenges, you cannot solve them. So this is what I managed to summarize based on my own experiences. Right, let me see. So first of all, the number one, company changes. So sometimes you have situations where I think area directors, if you have area directors in the house, the last thing you want to hear, in your term is to someone coming to you and say that, my company is going to restructure and a lot of people are going to lose their jobs and, the club may or may not survive, right? So it happens. This is a very unique situation for corporate clubs, not so much for community, but it happens. Right? So we have to be mindful of that. Second one is that in some companies, they do not they do not pay the full fee, but they subsidize. So maybe the fees are too expensive for some corporate club staff. And lack of management support, so maybe lack of money, they don't pay for the refreshment. So if they don't pay for the refreshment, then you need to collect the money from the staff. It's just I just term it all under the management support. And sometimes you have HR who refuse to acknowledge the obstacles. If let's say the company set a KPI where all the members will need to have at least a 70% attendance, and then you have a few members who just do not want to cooperate. And when you share with HR say that I'm not going to do anything about it. So then more and more members will follow suit, and it's a downward spiral, right? So this is why I say the lack of management support. And the fourth one is a very common one, like busy with work. One word, busy, you can negate everything, right? I cannot do my TMD today. I'm busy, right? So this is one of the challenges that we face. But like I said just now, the club culture is important because we need to nip it in the bud at the start of the term. And we have a lack of members' participation. No matter how much you call them, no matter how much coffee you spend on them, they are just never going to deliver a speech, right? They are happy to become a timer or art counter. Sometimes that's the bar, that's their bar, right? They're not going to go even grammarian, right? They only even do art counter or the timer, the safest role in the meetings, right? Actually, I think being a timer is not easy, but some people they think so. All right, so that is the 5. But I have one last one, right? And this one last one is very, very important. I would say sometimes people say, when the AD goes to the club, to the corporate club, they say, what's going on in the corporate club? Why are we not having meetings and all? And then the corporate club leaders would say, well, there are some people are busy with work and some members do not participate, all that. But I would say that the underlying factor is always lack of ownership, right? And I don't want to put it all on the leaders, but leaders and members, they both don't own the club. They don't feel a sense of belonging to the club. So when you don't feel a sense of belonging to the club, why would you want to invest any time to run the club? You probably just want to do the bare minimum. So I think we got to be mindful of these challenges faced by the corporate clubs. So how do we solve them? Now, I do not have a silver bullet, right, or magic wand to solve the problem. I mean, if I have, then I probably would be invited all over the world, right? I don't have the silver bullet, but what I do have are certain methods which, if the corporate clubs are willing to save the club, they can try to implement. And I've seen successes coming out of those items. So what are needed in the corporate club? I listed down here 6 V, words starting with the letter V, right? And some of these items are also shared with community clubs as well. So a corporate club needs to have a vision. What is the vision of a corporate club? Now, of course, we have our club mission, like we have a district mission. Right? So you can try to incorporate that Toastmasters mission, but we can also customize the vision. And for a corporate club, I would say the easiest way to come up with a club vision is to merge it with your company's vision. What is your company's vision? If your company's vision is to be, let's say, the #1 semiconductor company in the world through innovation, right? So so think about it. Innovation means what? You got to do things in a different way, right? You got to go beyond, right? Push beyond the boundaries. So things like this you can incorporate into your club vision as well. So what does a club aspire to be? Is it a place where people come and push boundaries, and become more than what they are now? Or is it a place where people come and make friends? So whichever one that your club want to have. Vulnerability is very important because, corporate club, as I said, is a platform for people to come and, feel safe about sharing about other things, right? But this takes time to build. Vulnerability takes time to build. Okay, so I think the rest are quite easy to understand. Maybe I want to just mention on one item, which is visibility. Okay, visibility. As a corporate club, you need to do your PR. You need to, because if your management and the colleagues do not know who you are as popular as I would say the ping pong club. So if you want to be known, if you want to be said, okay, this is a place where leaders come, this is a place where people come to be transformed, then you have to show it, right? You have to demonstrate it. You have your company FB or you have a company portal, make use of it, be visible, right? Don't say, oh no, but I'm so timid, I do not know what to do and all that. Well, get help from your AD, because most likely they will have connection with other corporate club, and you can learn a thing or two from the other corporate clubs as well, or from your AD. Okay, I will share the 4 retention strategy. And the first one, right, as I mentioned just now, I'm going to share on aspects of people. Engagement is very important. I was the VPM of my corporate club, MISC. I won a couple of votes, including president, but one of them is the VPM. And as a VPM, I was a VPM twice, one for my corporate club MISC and one for Advanced Ardent Speakers. And what I did in both of those 2 clubs, across 2 different terms, I made an effort to connect with every single member, right? Listen to that, right? Every single member, not through WhatsApp message, by call or sometimes by coffee if you want to have it, right? I mean, I'm not saying that you need to have coffee with every single one, but at least a call. And now most companies, you have your Teams, right? You have Microsoft Teams, you have Zoom, right? So make use of those facilities, call them up, talk to them, find out what are their goals, why do they join Toastmasters, do they want to take it easy, do they want to, accelerate their journey, right? And just hear from them and know them as people, right? As a person. And if you just rely on your WhatsApp group announcement, sorry to say, right? I think I'm looking at my phone right now. Probably I have like 20 WhatsApp groups. You're competing against all the other WhatsApp groups from their personal life, from work and all that, right? It's not going to be easy. And if you have a personal one-to-one with them, you can know their why and you can start to involve them in club activity. Or even better, if let's say 10 people telling you saying that I want to learn more about presentation skills, then have a session for workshop, right? Invite someone from the district to come and deliver a speech about presentation skills. That form your club activity among based on their needs. And for senior members, don't neglect them, don't isolate them, right? Invite them to be mentor or to be evaluator. So you engage them in a different way, right? You don't ask them like, why do you join Toastmasters? Or they will tell you a grandfather story, right? So invite them to be mentor, right? Invite them to be evaluator for icebreaker speeches or level 4, level 5, right? Make use of them because they want to be made use of. Otherwise, they won't stay with the club. They would have left. Right? They're waiting for you to invite them to be involved. Okay, so if you're the leader, do not isolate them. Next, we have the recognition. So recognition is important even in community, but I think in corporate, there's one added dimension here, which is the recognition from the senior management. Right? This is what I want to concentrate on. Recognition from senior management. So you have your CEO, you have your VP, all right? You have your chairman, whoever that you can reach, right? You have access to. Reach out to them and say that, look, we have a Toastmasters club and the members have really pushed themselves. Do you mind work around their timetable. So you have to be like 2 or 3 months in advance. Right? Don't today is the 23rd of June, and you need to do something by the end of the term, and then you ask them to come next week. Right? They're not your subordinate. Okay, they are your bosses, so they need time, right? Because they will have probably other engagement. So plan early. Right? Just let them know that we want to invite you to motivate the members. When the CEO of my company, of MISC, MISC is a public listed company. When our CEO attended the meeting, our membership increased by 8 members within the following week. 8 members from 17 to 25 within 1 week. That is the power of the senior management, right? They come, they recognize the team, they recognize the members, and they motivate the guests to join. So that's very important. Mentoring. Now, why I put this in the third place is because sometimes in corporate clubs, you may not have enough members to do mentoring. And I don't want us to have mentoring just for the sake of having a mentoring, because sometimes people put like those who have just joined for 2 months, 3 months, and then force them to be mentored, even though they are actually not prepared. They are learning themselves. So you may stress them out. So I prefer to take a more pragmatic approach to mentoring. Right? If you have a lot of senior members, by all means go ahead and do it. You are tailored for expansion. You can expand your club. But if you have relatively few senior members, then try to prioritize new members, right, for mentoring. I don't have a silver bullet, like I said. This is the only one I can help to offer. And mentoring can go beyond club meeting. Don't just mentor for speeches, for evaluation. Mentor them for other than their speeches and all that. I've mentored someone for their wedding speech, for his wedding speech. I spent about 2 months mentoring that friend of mine for his wedding speech, and he sent me a copy. He said exactly what I asked him to say. So it was fun, right? So yeah, but then he's my friend even until today. You build a lasting relationship when you do mentoring correctly. Last one for me. Recruitment. Now, I know we just talked about recruitment just now, but one of the retention strategy I would say is recruitment, because I heard a lot of people mention this in corporate club as well as in community club. Why do you want to do recruitment? Just focus on retention first. We're not even doing retention properly. How can we do recruitment? Let's focus on retention first, and then we can think about recruitment. For me, I think it is based on the unrealistic assumption. What assumption is that? The assumption is that people are going to stay forever, in the club if you treat them right. Not necessarily, and especially so in a corporate club. Staff come and go, maybe you treat them right, but their bosses don't, right? Okay, I don't want to go into details here, right? Or maybe the company is going to be structuring and all that. So people will come and go. So we need to think of other ways to bring new people in, because despite our best efforts, staff will come and go. So when staff come and go, what happens? If you don't think about recruitment, you just want to think about retention, right? So we'll start to have dwindling membership. Membership will start to go down, and then some people will take double row, triple row, and then even more members leave. It is a downward spiral, right? And the same principle we can apply the same principle in recruitment. Maybe we have a different level of focus. So we don't do a lot. We don't have to have a speechcraft. We don't have to have too many recruitment sessions. But we still need to retain the principle is we welcome and we want. Corporate clubs need quality members. So retain that principle and keep an open door policy for people to walk in and become a member. Right. So these are the 4 retention methods. Just to recap, we have the engagement, we have recognition, we have mentoring, and we have recruitment. So that concludes my presentation for today. I think I might have about 7 to 8 minutes for Q&A. So I pass the session over to our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Albert. So let's move on to our next Q&A session. So our Zoom master, can you show us again the QR? We actually have received quite a number of questions with us, but we will be going to the highest voted question. So your first question is, meeting for corporates during lunchtime compared to after work, which is, in your opinion, is more effective?
Okay, thank you for the question. I would say this is highly dependent. I mean, I'm sorry if this is not the answer you want. You probably want me to lean on one or the other. But I've been in clubs which does both. All I can say is this: if one doesn't work, try the other. Right? Don't keep on doing the same thing. Right? If let's say lunchtime doesn't work, because why? Nowadays, more and more companies having a flexi lunchtime. Right? They have an official lunchtime 12 to 1 or 1 to 2, but then their staff especially if you are working in a place like mine where we are near a mall. So a lot of staff want to go out early because they don't want to get caught with the traffic, right? With the human traffic. So they go at 11:30 to have lunch. So if you have a lunch meeting, that's not going to work because members are going to come and go. So it really does depend on your office. But if you work in a very structured environment, let's say maybe a factory, for example, right? Or any other place where everybody generally goes out to work in that during that same window, then I think you can try to go for lunchtime meeting. Otherwise, after work is equally tricky because after work means you will have people who want to leave. So if you want to do after work, my suggestion is that do half an hour before the working hour ends, and you will need their permission, the management buy-in. But at least you can avoid like members having to stay back until too late. Because I know those with family, they probably want to head off right after work. So I don't have really a magical answer to that. I mean, if anybody want to reach out to me privately, I can try to analyze the situation. But I would say, I've seen clubs successful doing both. It just really depends on where your club is meeting. Yeah.
Thank you, DTM Albert, for the answer. I think we have our next question. Our next question is, corporate challenges is mostly because there are clash of egos among excos, or exco use a reason as busy and things not moving. How to get them realize their role?
Okay, I think ego exists everywhere, even including community clubs. Okay, but I mean, at the end of the day, right, we have to go back to. I just want to pull up this one slide that I have here just now. So it depends on this slide here, right? What exactly is the club trying to do? So ego should take a second place. I mean, of course, obviously, all of us, we want to be respected. We want to have a certain recognition, but we have to remind ourselves. So if you are the club president and you have certain exco members who have their own ego and say that I don't want to be dictated. I want to do things my own way and things like that. So well, this is where we will test your leadership skills, right? Because Toastmasters is a place where leaders are made. So you have to try to call for a meeting, right? Call for a meeting and just remind everybody what is the vision of our corporate club. And sometimes I notice this. This is just something that just come to my mind when you mention that other people have ego. Let's just check, right? Let's just check that we ourselves do not have. We ourselves do not have the same ego, right? Which is actually hindering us from solving the problem. So that's one. But I want to go to the second part of the question where you mentioned how to get them to realize about their role. Some of them, they don't know about the role. So once again, this is a part where the club president, so the club president role is very important for a corporate club. The club president needs to reach out to this exco member and talk to that person and try to get that person to understand the weight, right, the gravity of their role and the details of their role. I've seen too many club presidents who do nothing. Now, what happens when you do nothing? That is not an option, because when you do nothing, then you are basically sending a message to the other members of the team that it's okay for them to do the same thing. Right? They can also just slack, or they don't have to put in their full effort because someone got away with it. Why must we put in the effort? So be very careful how you treat exco members who are not contributing, because you may send the wrong message to the other members of the exco. If you have a difficulty, like for example, the person say, okay, I'm the VPPR, I'm supposed to post in the social media, but I have poor English, I don't know how to do it, and stuff like that. Then this is the time where you can seek external resource from the AD or someone else to try to find someone to mentor that person to be a VPPR. So don't always think that you don't have anyone else to turn to. You have your ADs, you have your other members of the district and the other clubs in your area to turn to for help.
Thank you, DTM Albert. I think we do have time for another one, right? I think we have one more. So do you think demo and workshop alone can help recruitment? Because reason givers is always, right, no time or busy, especially now with CNY and Raya on the go. So what do you think, DTM Albert?
Thank you. Right, that's why I put the first recruitment strategy as a club meeting. Right, the first method. That's why it is in that rank, in that order, because most clubs have to do club meeting and speech contest anyway. The other two are optional. You have the resources. If you have the need for it, then you can go and do it. But the first two are the things that your club are already doing. So what I want to say is that the answer for your membership building is already in your DNA, in your own club operations, which is the club meeting. So if you perfect your club meeting, right? If you perfect your club meeting, now when I say club meeting, I'm not saying everything that happens between your call to order and your adjournment of the meeting. that's not the only boundaries of the club meeting. Club meeting started 1 week before the actual club meeting, starting with marketing. So if you don't market a club meeting, you're not going to attract people to come to your club meeting. So it has to go, the boundaries of the club meeting have to expand before and after, So if you do your club meeting right and you have enough members, then you probably may not need to do additional recruitment or workshop. I didn't do one for my term because we have more than enough guests to manage.
Thank you so much. That really helps. And as a AD of corporate clubs, it's really, really eye-opening. Thank you for helping. And now let's move on to our appreciation. Yeah. Can we, yeah.
Stop share, right?
Okay. Master, yes. Yeah. So Master, can we have the slides back on?